Okay everyone, I am here at Minerva Tire Depot and I got to get the Fortuner an alignment after upgrading the suspension. The 2-inch lift definitely caused the wheel to pull when especially I'm like turning all the way. I feel this pulling, and a lot has to do with the change in the suspension, especially the upper control arm and the new height. So the 2-inch lift supposedly feels like it's more than 2-inch lift. And one of the things you'll notice is the, I don't know if you could appreciate that, the camber is off. So I'm here to take care of that. And so these are the other things you have to keep in mind when you're doing a lift suspension upgrade. And what do I think of it? I'll let you know. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Like from the back, you can see the suspension there. So that's part of like one of the reasons why I did it, because hey, look, you can see that there the suspension's been upgraded. You can see that it's been lifted, and you can see the upper control arm, and you can see the springs. Check that out. But now it needs to be, you can appreciate that, but you see how it's kind of angled. Yeah, if you look straight on, you see how it kind of curves in a little bit. Okay, I've had a week to drive around with a lifted suspension, and I have it at the setting at 2. I might try at the setting of 3, because like the higher the setting, the stiffer the suspension, so I might try 3. I think 1 is too soft. So the name of this video is gonna be, watch this before you upgrade or 2-inch lift your suspension, 2-inch lift your vehicle. And the answer is, if you have a 4x4, by all means go for it, because it's a 4x4, that's what you're supposed to do. And if you're thinking about it, go ahead, you won't have any regrets. But if you're like me and you only have a 4x2, and you're never gonna go off-roading, because I'm just a soccer mom, I'm just gonna use this to go to Costco, haul a bunch of kids, haul a bunch of groceries. So this thing is never gonna go off-roading. So you might have second thoughts about it. Did I have second thoughts? Yes or no? Because now, number one, you're spending like over $1,000 on the suspension, versus if you just go with OEM, maybe you'll spend $200 on the shocks, $200 on new springs, and you go $400. Then that's pretty good versus spending over $1,000. And it's still gonna ride like a truck. Now, I do admit that it rides softer, but by no means does it mean that you're gonna roll through and speed through speed bumps. I still take it slow, and when I take it slow, at least I notice the difference, how much softer it goes over the bumps. Is it worth is the change $1,000 worth? I don't know. I think if I would have spent $400, I think it would have been just the same. Now, looks wise, and that's how how I talked myself into it. I wanted to have like a cool looking suspension, so you could see over here. And when I was doing my research, doing my reviews, so when I could see it, you could see like, oh look, it's got upgraded suspension. So that's kind of where I bullied myself into going for the suspension upgrade. And of course, the Fortuner needed new suspension, and that's when I started researching it, and then that's when I got convinced myself into spending that much money. If I had to do it over again, and if I was like, could you spend that extra $1,000? You know, you're talking about extra $600-700 that you spent because you have to get the alignment also. Could that be spent on something else better, like you need to change the belts or the radiator? Then yeah, go spend it on that. But if you already did those things and you want to upgrade, the other problem now is, oh, it's okay. The other problem now is, now the tires and the wheels, I'm gonna have to consider upgrading them into something bigger, and then you have to deal with, I have to do another alignment, and I have to deal with the performance of the gas mileage is going to get worse. because it's going to be heavier. It's going to look awesome, but it's not going to really be utilized, because like I said, it's not a 4x4. So those are the things you kind of have to think about. Would I have been just as happy if I just upgraded the shocks? Yeah, the ride would have improved, but it's not going to have this cool look. And but at least I don't have to get a new alignment or get new tires or new wheels and look just fine. At first, when I got it, I wanted to upgrade the wheels and tires right away because it looked a little bit off. But if you look at it from an angle, it doesn't really, you don't really see the big gap or the big lift or the big space because of the smaller wheel and the smaller tire. So I got used to it, and the urge of changing it didn't overwhelm me like before. But if once these wear out, that's going to be something I'm going to have to consider, and it's going to cost, I don't know, tires, bigger tires, going to cost like $400 or $500 a piece versus like only $200 or $300. So those are things to consider if you're thinking about upgrading your suspension and adding a 2-inch lift. If it's a 4x4, yeah, go for it, knock yourself out. But it's a 4x2. But if you have other things that you could spend the money on, like new belts, you need to rebuild the transmission or replace the water pump, then yeah, use it on those. Use the money on those things instead, and just spend a couple of $100s on replacing it with OEM shocks. But if you've already done that and you really want to have the look also and upgrade it and change the wheels, then knock yourself out. While I'm here, I'm going to be looking at their tire and wheel package. So I'm probably going to go with, if I do go bigger, I have to get a 17 or 18 inch. Look at this KR Defender upper control arm, 25,000 pesos. This is worth more than the car, versus the upper control arm that I got was, I think, around 10,000 pesos. And they do have Ride Max over here, 2.5 each, or 25. Is this Ride Max? Thanks. Yeah, for a set of 4. And then they also have this control arm, but I don't like this color though. And they've got their wheels and they've got their display. So let's take a look at their wheel and tire package and see what are options. So if they're saying I want a bigger tire, I'm gonna need a bigger wheel, which is this. If I was looking at their display over here, this Block Mamba would probably my wheel of choice because it's simple and not that hard to clean, and it looks fine to me. The other ones kind of look too busy. I kind of want mine to be simple, and I don't want it to be black. Because the black, you can't really see any of the detail. But over here, this kind of gunmetal or silver metal. Maybe this is a little bit better over here. This color. Ito, anong size nito?
Hindi ko siya nag-hit, sir.
Ayan. Pero mas maganda yung kulay nito. So, but I guess that's... ready to go. So this wheel is about $300, but I could use the stock wheel. It's a 265 75 R16. So I think it's a 31 inch, 31 inch, 30 something inch wheel. And look at how much bigger it is compared to the smaller one. I think I can live with that. Yeah. That way they don't have to add any casters. They don't have to cut off the fender. So it'll fit fine, the 265, and it's nice and wide, and yeah, it looks way better. Looks way better that it's bigger. Yeah, I could live with that. For $300, around $300. Ah, yes. Now that the alignment is finished, and the good news is that I can get a bigger tire, but I can actually use the stock wheels or upgrade the wheels to 17-inch versus 16-inch. But I can still use the stock wheels and get a bigger wheel. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, because these wheels are kind of expensive, and good, it doesn't pull anymore. Before it was pulling. Now it doesn't pull anymore when I turn the wheel all the way. So the back tires are almost worn out. They probably got like a year maybe to go. They're still in pretty good condition. So once that happens, I'll probably replace all of them with the bigger tires. The good news is that by just using the stock wheels, they're gonna be about $300 each. So times 4, $1,200. Yes, it's expensive, but there's no getting around it. Just like the suspension needed to be replaced, the tires need to be replaced also. Okay, that completes today's adventure. I'll see you guys in the next vlog.